Hi there, guys. So, I'm not much of a YouTuber or anything like that. Actually, this would be my first video. But I see a lot of things going on, and I wanted to kind of give my 2 cents. So, I didn't really get into politics until relatively recently, actually, within the last 6 years or so. But regardless of all that jazz, here we go. First of all, what the heck is going on with our politics in the United States? It seems like nobody in this country has a clue what is going on, what side of the fence they actually sit on, what side they are on morally. What I wanted to do was just kind of lay things out from my perspective. I'm not going to be like a historian or anything like that. That's just not who I am, and why make believe. But what I gather is that you've got two systems, sort of like a Eastern versus Western system. Hey guys, before I continue, I strongly, if you have a dictionary or even a phone, especially an iPhone, if you have an iPhone, just, ask Siri what these words mean. It's very important that you learn this. On the one hand, you have a collectivist ideology or collectivism. Western ideology, you have individualism. We can butt heads about this. In a collective, the individual doesn't necessarily matter. In an individualist society, my way, my rules, as long as it's within the guise of the law and within the boundaries of my home, really. Underneath those two systems, you have fascism, capitalism, socialism, and communism. I don't know who invented these things. I'd hope that people will do further research than me. It'd be super cool if you did. But so under a capitalist society, that allows for an individualist mindset. My money, I spend it. I get my money the way that I choose to. I spend it the way that I choose to. The government has no way to tell me any way otherwise, other than taxing me to death, like our country is so apt to do. But capitalism without some socialist safety net is fascism, and fascism is tyranny. And on the eastern side here, socialism without any capitalist aspects is communism. And make no mistake, folks, communism is tyranny. You can say over here, well, we try to take care of everybody, but how effective can you be at that? Eventually people run out of money. You can't just keep robbing the rich. The rich do run out. Flip side over here, in a capitalist society, not everybody is going to succeed in that. But it is up to the individual, if they can, to get up by their bootstraps and fight every day, to succeed. And for that to really work for everybody, you do have to have a slight socialist safety net. But it's the war between the two, and, I would much rather live under a system where, I succeed or fail by my own merit, rather than being placed into a box as these collectivist ideologies try to do. It seems that socialism only works through political coups and that sort of thing. It's always messy and dirty. But they always seek to use individual classes or races, point them at other sections of civilization, like loaded guns, such as what the left is attempting to do in the United States now. I don't know. But in all of these, countries that have these socialist or communist governments, it's a tiered pyramidal system. You know, at the top you have the inner party, you know, the ones that pull the levers of government. You have the outer party, the ones that are the do boys, the ones that do the work for this guy here. And then beneath them you have, I guess, what would be the proletariat, you know, or the working class, you know. And this system, you know, it doesn't seek to make all of those equal or make everybody the same. No, it seeks to make the proletariats all alike, the outer party all alike, and the inner party all alike, to be controlled from the top down. And that doesn't work for me. Now, you can say the same, it's the same on this side of the fence, but at least this side gives you some opportunity to climb the ladder, and I'd rather have a chance rather than no chance. So now do bear in mind that all of these, they act kind of like a belt, really. There is a wraparound, you know. This can very easily, you know, all come together under one tyrannical system, really. How do any of these things work? Well, large corporate conglomerates, you know, the United States has many. Give me just a second here. So how does this happen? With corporations over here and the ruling class. That's how you end up with fascism over here, and this is how you end up with communism over here, you know, tyranny. But they're both really the same thing at the end of the day. Now, there's a lot in pop culture that, you know, explains all of this incredibly well. You know, if you haven't read 1984 or Animal Farm or Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, you should. You need to. If you haven't read Ayn Rand or anything like that, if you haven't seen RoboCop, you know, all of these things were thought of probably long before you and I even were born. So nothing under the sun is new. But you can only enter a state of fascism under the control of corporations, same as you can only fall under a state of socialism or communism under the control of a ruling class or a aristocratical system. What happens when the corporate overlords are the aristocratic ruling class? And they really are the same thing. Which in a sense is where we are at globally. It just seems like this entire exercise over the last 11 months or so has been a effort to solidify it. On the flip side of that is an effort to break away from it. So again, I think that a lot of the problem, you know, is people have forgotten that this is where we're at here, you know, when we're talking in the United States about, you know, the left versus the right or Republican versus Democrat, you know, we're really talking about, you know, this is what we're talking about. You know, today anyways, I'm sure that you know, it was something much different to call yourself a liberal 60, 70, 80, 90 years ago, you know, but today's liberal is leaning towards this Eastern ideology of collectivism, you know, that wants to be under a socialist governance or a communist governance, you know. And again, if you would like to experience, you know, something like that, I would implore you, friends, you know, America is a free and open country. You can go live in North Korea, you know, for a year or two. Give it a try. I would prefer to keep my individual, inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so when the left is talking about issues of race and gender identity, all of that madness. It's really just a way of butchering up a society that's already, in a sense, a collective, because the United States, what are we before we are anything else? We're America. The thing that's for sure, friends, is that shit rolls downhill, and you and I, we're all standing at the bottom of it looking up, and I hope you brought goggles.